There seem to be rules at work that nobody writes down, nobody teaches you, and honestly, nobody really says out loud. But the people who know them, you can tell. Because some people just get seen. Opportunities find them, leaders remember them, and for a long time I thought that that was just about personality, that they're loud, outgoing, they're out there networking, but it actually has very little to do with that. And that's what I want to get into today. Hi, and welcome to Awfully Quiet. My name is Hannah, and this show is really about one thing, that there is more than one way to build a career. It doesn't have to be loud, it doesn't have to be extrovert-coded, it doesn't have to be as performative as everyone makes it out to be. It can be quieter, it can be more intentional, and honestly, just as effective. If you are new here, I'm so glad you found this. And if this episode resonates, please share it with somebody who could use it too. This is the type of career conversation that doesn't happen often enough, so that's how the show grows. So here's a story we've all been told. Work hard, put your head down, deliver amazing results, and things will just click into place. Good work speaks for itself, right? And I think most of us believe that. I did. But at some point you notice that it isn't quite that simple. You're doing great work, genuinely good work, and the people around you notice, your peers, your manager. But it's not traveling. It is not reaching the rooms where the real conversations happen, where promotions are being decided, where talent is being discussed. And you start to realize that doing a great job and being seen and known for it are not the same thing. Good work builds the foundation. It's your ticket in. But once you're in the room, it is not going to get you to the next level. So what actually does get you to the next level? I want to share 3 things with you. And these are not from a playbook. This is not something that anyone ever advised me to do. They're things that I leaned into because they felt more like me. Some of them worked, some of them didn't. But whatever worked out for me, I continued doing. And I now consider these my quiet game changers that nobody seems to be talking about. The first thing I started noticing is work doesn't speak for itself. People speak for it. And what I mean by that is some people do great work and nobody really knows about it. And some people do good work and everybody knows about it. And the difference is not in talent. The difference is in the way you speak about it. Now, you don't need to be loud. You don't need to be bragging. You do not need to share everything that you are doing. It is actually kind of the opposite. Most of us, when we're in a team meeting or with our manager, we tend to show the pile. Here is everything that's on my plate. Here is how much I'm doing. Here is proof that I am working really hard. And I get it, because you do want to be seen for your efforts. But what actually lands is to pick one thing out of that pile. Not the whole list, but one thing. And you attach meaning to it. You don't just say, here's what I've done this week, but you say, here's one thing I did, and here's how it moves things forward. Here's how it's going to affect next week. This is how it ties into the work that somebody else is doing on the team. It is one small shift, but it changes everything. Because suddenly you're not just the one who is busy. You are the one who knows exactly the impact their work has. And that is who gets remembered. The second thing I noticed is that being seen at work has very little to do with what you're doing and more to do with who knows that you're doing it. And I think this is one of the things that doesn't often get talked about. In the corporate world and in the workplace, we're often being told to be more visible, put ourselves out there. But what does that actually mean? What I have come to believe is when opportunities open up, when promotion conversations happen behind closed doors, somebody in that room has to think of your name. And that doesn't happen by accident. It's not always who is the most capable. It's who comes to mind. And honestly, for me, that is how my most meaningful career moves came about, through advocacy, through people who had seen my work, who were in rooms that I wasn't in, and then put my name forward for the right opportunities. Now, I think the thing that often gets misunderstood or not talked about enough is that this isn't passive. I set them up to advocate for me. I made sure that they knew exactly what I wanted, what my goals were, the kind of opportunity I would love to have. And so when they were in the right rooms and they saw an opportunity like that come up, it was all too easy for them to put my name forward. That is how these things happen. It's making sure the right people know. Not everybody needs to know. You don't need to be loud. You don't need to tell everyone. You need to tell the right people so that they can put your name in the ring when the right opportunities come to life. Now, the third thing, and this one surprised me a little when I noticed it, I think we're all being taught to be impressive, to say the smart thing, to ask the really good questions, to show our thinking, to show our range, to impress the room. But what I started noticing is that the people who are consistently seen, trusted, and remembered, they aren't the most impressive. They are the easiest to be around. And what I mean by this is they are calm when things get chaotic. They communicate clearly instead of just communicating a lot. They make things simpler instead of more complicated. And honestly, they're just easy to work with. Because here's the thing. Nobody promotes anyone who exhausts them. Nobody advocates for someone who makes every conversation harder than it needs to be, even if that person is brilliant. The chaotic genius is impressive in theory, but the calm, clear person, that's who people trust. That's who people think of. So it's really not about being the smartest person in the room. It's about being the clearest, the steadiest, the one who makes people feel like everything is going to be okay. Here's what I want to leave you with. If you're at a point in your career where you feel stuck, where you feel like things are not working in your favor, and your instinct is, I just need to work harder, I just need to do better, I need to over-deliver, I want you to challenge that. Because you are very likely already somebody who does great work. You're doing genuinely great. And your manager likely tells you that too in your performance reviews. So if you feel like you can already tick that box, you're getting good feedback, people around you notice you, they notice your good work, I want you to challenge the fact that more work is going to get you out of that rut. You need to start to do things slightly differently. Position your work in a slightly different context. Talk about it differently. Show the impact that your work has. Make sure that the right people see what you're doing. And most of all, make sure that the right people know where you are headed, what you would really like as a next opportunity or as like a development project. Make sure people know. Not everybody needs to know. You do not need to be loud. You need to intentionally place these things as like little signals or little breadcrumbs. Now, I hope that you're taking something away from this conversation. And I'm pretty sure you have somebody in mind who could benefit from this too. Somebody who does great work, who does amazingly, but who isn't always recognized for it, who isn't always noticed for it, but who would love to be. Send it to them. And if you would subscribe to the show, follow the show, give it 5 stars on Spotify, that would be the ultimate seal of approval that I love. It always makes my day. Thank you for being here genuinely, and I'll see you next time.